Produced by Lianggu, Primary School Chinese Recitation. The second volume of the first grade. Text 8, Quiet Night Thoughts. Tang Li Bai. There was bright moonlight in front of the bed, which was probably due to frost on the ground. Raise your head to look at the bright moon, lower your head to think about your hometown. Text 12, Two Ancient Poems. Qi Shang. Tang Bai Ji. The little boy held a small boat and secretly picked white lotus flowers. Without clearing up the hidden traces, the duckweeds bloomed together. Koike. Text 12, Two Ancient Poems. Qi Shang. Tang Bai Ji. The little boy held a small boat and secretly picked white lotus flowers. Without clearing up the hidden traces, the duckweeds bloomed together. Koike. Song Dynasty Yang Wanli. The spring flows silently and slowly. The shade of the tree shines on the water, and the love is clear and soft. The little lotus has just revealed its sharp corners, and a dragonfly has already stood on it. Literacy 1, Spring, Summer, Autumn and Winter. The spring breeze blows, the summer rain falls, the autumn frost falls, and the winter snow falls. The shade of the tree shines on the water, and the love is clear and soft. The little lotus has just revealed its sharp corners, and a dragonfly has already stood on it. Literacy 1, Spring, Summer, Autumn and Winter. The spring breeze blows, the summer rain falls, the autumn frost falls, and the winter snow falls. Green grass, red flowers, swimming fish, flying birds. The grass in the pond is green, the mountain flowers are red, fish come out of the water, and birds enter the forest. Literacy 2, Surname Song. What's your last name? My surname is Li. The grass in the pond is green, the mountain flowers are red, fish come out of the water, and birds enter the forest. Literacy 2, Surname Song. What's your last name? My surname is Li. What Li? Mu Zi Li. What's his last name? His surname is Zhang. What picture? The bow stretched. Gu Yuehu. He spoke to Wu Tian, the two of them were Su, and said Noon. There are many Chinese surnames. Zhao, Qian, Sun, Li, Zhou, Wu, Zheng, Wang. Zhuge, Dongfang, Shengguan, Ouyang. Literacy 6, The Past versus the Present. The past meets the present, a circle meets the other. Severe cold versus scorching heat, warm spring versus cool autumn. Morning versus dusk, snow versus frost. Gentle breeze versus drizzle, morning glow versus sunset. Peach versus plum, willow versus poplar. The song of orioles is to the dance of swallows, and the chirping of birds is to the fragrance of flowers. Literacy 8, The Beginning of Man. In the beginning, human beings are inherently good. Their natures are similar, but their habits are far apart. If you don't teach, your nature will change. The way to teach is to be specialized. If a child does not learn, it is not appropriate. If a child does not learn, what will the old do? If jade is not polished, it will not become a tool. If a person does not learn, he will not know righteousness. Text 13, The lotus leaf is round. The lotus leaves are round and green. The little water drop said, The lotus leaf is my cradle. The little water drop lay on the lotus leaf and blinked his bright eyes. The little dragonfly said, The lotus leaf is my landing pad. Text 13, The lotus leaf is round. The lotus leaves are round and green. The little frog said, The lotus leaf is my singing platform. The little frog squatted on the lotus leaf and sang loudly. The little fish said, The lotus leaf is my parasol. The little fish swam around under the lotus leaf with a smile, holding up beautiful water flowers. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. Spring returns to the earth, all things revive, the willows are green and the flowers are red, the orioles are singing and the swallows are dancing. The ice and snow are melting, the springs are tinkling, 100 flowers are blooming, and 100 birds are chirping. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Chen Xiao. Tang Meng Haoren. When I sleep in spring, I don't realize the dawn, and I can hear the singing of birds everywhere. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Chen Xiao. Tang Meng Haoren. When I sleep in spring, I don't realize the dawn, and I can hear the singing of birds everywhere. The sound of wind and rain at night makes one know how many flowers have fallen. Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. As a gift to Wang Luan. Tang Li Bai. Li Bai was about to set off in a boat when he suddenly heard people singing on the shore. The water in Peach Blossom Pond is 1,000 feet deep, and it is not as deep as Wang Luan's love for me. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Those who seek hermitage will not find. Teng Jia Dao. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Those who seek hermitage will not find. Tengjia Dao. Matsushita asked the boy, saying that the teacher was going to collect medicine. Only in this mountain, I don't know where the clouds are. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. Tofu mixed with shallots, 1 clear, green, and 2 white dash. Fetching water from a bamboo basket was in vain. The sesame seeds are blooming, getting higher and higher dash. 15 buckets to fetch water. 7 ups and 8 downs. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash. The morning glow does not leave the house, but the sunset travels thousands of miles. There is a rainy mountain wearing a hat, but there is no rain halfway up the mountain. It rained in the morning and was sunny on the same day. It rained at night until dawn. Ants are moving snakes across the aisle, heavy rain is coming soon. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. He is sensitive and eager to learn, and he is not ashamed to ask questions. It rained at night until dawn. Ants are moving snakes across the aisle, heavy rain is coming soon. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. He is sensitive and eager to learn, and he is not ashamed to ask questions. The Analects of Confucius. If you don't know, ask. If you don't know, learn. Xuanzi. Read it 100 times, and the righteousness will come to you. Dong Yu. Read thousands of books and travel thousands of miles. Dong Chichang. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash. Draw a chicken. Mingtang Yin. There is no need to cut off the red crown on your head, and you will walk into the future covered in snow white. I dare not speak softly in my life, and thousands of doors will be opened at once. The second volume of the second grade. Text 1. 2 Ancient Poems. Village Home. Qing Dynasty Gouting. The grass is long and the orioles are flying in the February sky, and the willows are blowing on the embankment and are drunk with the spring smoke. The children came back early from school and were busy taking advantage of the east wind to fly kites. 2 Ancient Poems. Village Home. Qing Dynasty Gouting. The grass is long and the orioles are flying in the February sky, and the willows are blowing on the embankment and are drunk with the spring smoke. The children came back early from school and were busy taking advantage of the east wind to fly kites. Yong Lu. Tenghi Zhizhang. The jasper is as high as a tree, and there are thousands of green silk ribbons hanging down. I don't know who cuts out the thin leaves. The spring breeze in February is like scissors. Text 15, 2 Ancient Poems. I left Jingxi Temple at dawn to see Lin Zifang off. Song, Yang Wanli. After all, the scenery of West Lake in June is different from that of the 4 seasons. The lotus leaves touching the sky are infinitely green, and the lotus flowers reflecting the sun are uniquely red. Quatrain. Tangdu Fu. 2 orioles sing in the green willows. A row of egrets ascends to the sky. The window contains the snow of Chinchou in the Shiling Mountains, and the door is docked with ships thousands of miles away from Dongwu. Literacy 2, Traditional Festivals. When the spring festival comes, people laugh, put up window grills, and set off firecrackers. Lantern Festival. Watching the lanterns, the streets and alleys are crowded with people. On the Qingming Festival, it rained heavily, and I went to pay homage to my ancestors' tombs. After the Dragon Boat Festival, dragon boat races were held, and the aroma of rice dumplings and moxa filled the hall. July 7th, come to beg for luck. The cowherd and the weaver girl meet on the Magpie Bridge. During the Mid-Autumn Festival, we eat moon cakes and watch the 15th full moon shine in the sky. On the Double Ninth Festival, we should respect the elderly and climb high in the autumn to admire the chrysanthemums. In the blink of an eye, the new year is here again. The whole family reunion was so lively. Text 16, Thunderstorm. The sky was filled with dark clouds, pressing down heavily. The leaves on the trees were motionless, and the cicada was silent. Suddenly a strong wind blew the branches swaying wildly. A spider dangled from the web and escaped. The lightning is getting brighter and brighter. The thunder became louder and louder. Whoa, 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 it started to rain. The rain is getting heavier. Looking out the window, I can't see the trees or the house clearly. Gradually, the thunder became smaller and the rain became smaller. It's daybreak. Open the window. The fresh air rushes towards you. The rain stopped. The sun is coming out. A rainbow hangs in the sky. The cicada chirped. The spider sat on the web again. The pond is full of water and the frogs are chirping. Farewell to the ancient original grass. Excerpt. Tang by Ji. The grass on the original plain grows brighter and wither every year. Wildfires never burn out, but spring breezes blow them again. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Give someone a rose, and the fragrance will linger in your hands. I am willing to help others in normal times, but there is someone who can help me in times of emergency. Rather than adding icing on the cake, it is better to provide help when it is timely. Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. The little rat, the ugly cow. Yin tiger, Mao rabbit, Chin dragon, sea snake. Wu horse, Wei sheep, Shen monkey, Yu rooster, Su dog, Hai pig. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. A light promise will lead to a lack of faith. Lousy. A broken promise cannot be established. Zhuazhuan. If little faith succeeds, no faith will stand. Han Fizi. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. The crown must be straight, the buttons must be knotted, and the socks and shoes must be tight. Wearing crowns and clothes. Don't mess around, it will cause filth. Only study with virtue and talent. If you are not as good as others, you should train yourself. If the clothes and food are not as good as those of others, don't worry about them. Disciple rules. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash. Compassion for Farmers, Part 1. Tang Dynasty Li Shen. Plant 1 grain of millet in spring and harvest 10,000 grains in autumn. There is no idle land all over the world, and farmers are still starving to death. Compassion for Farmers, Part 1. Tang Dynasty Li Shen. Plant 1 grain of millet in spring and harvest 10,000 grains in autumn. There is no idle land all over the world, and farmers are still starving to death. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. The spring rain shocks the clear spring sky. Summer is full of awns and summer is hot. There is dew in autumn, cold frost in autumn, and snow in winter and slight severe cold in winter. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash. What I saw in Zhou Yishu. Qing, check with caution. When the moon is dark, you can see fishing lanterns. A little light of firefly. A slight breeze stirred up the waves, scattering stars all over the river. The second volume of the third grade. Text 1, 3 Ancient Poems. Quatrain. Tengdu Fu. The rivers and mountains are beautiful and cheery, and the spring breeze is fragrant with flowers and grass. The mud melts and swallows fly, and the sand is warm and mandarin ducks sleep. Huichong Chunjiang Evening Scene. Song Dynasty Su Shi. There are 2 or 3 branches of peach blossoms outside the bamboo, which are prophets of the warmth of the spring river. The ground is covered with wormwood and short reed buds. It's the time when the puffer fish wants to come. In the middle of Sanku Road. Song Dynasty Once Upon a Time. The plum blossoms are yellow, the sun is clear, the creek is overflowing, and the mountains are flowing. The green shade does not slow down the journey, and the 4 or 5 oriole calls are added. Text 9. 3 Ancient Poems. Yuan Day. Song Dynasty Wang Engshi. The sound of firecrackers marks the end of the year, and the spring breeze brings warmth to Tusu. Thousands of households always replace old talismans with new peaches. Qingming. Tang Dynasty Du Mu. It rains heavily during the Qingming festival, and pedestrians on the road feel like they are dying. May I ask where the restaurant is? The shepherd boy points to Xinghua village in the distance. Remembering Shandong brothers on September 9th. Tang Wang Wei. Being a stranger in a foreign land, I miss my family even more during the festive season. I know from afar that when my brothers climbed to a high place, there was only one less person planting dogwood trees. Text 2, Swallow. Natural paragraphs 1 to 3. A body of jet black feathers, a pair of brisk and powerful wings, and a scissor-like tail make up such a cute and lively little swallow. In the spring days of February and March, the breeze blew gently. The drizzle is falling from the sky, and thousands of soft willows, red, white, and yellow flowers, green grass, and green leaves are all gathered together like a market, forming a brilliant spring. At this time, those little swallows were so smart and cute. They also flew from the south to join this dazzling picture, adding a lot of life to the spring scenery. The little swallow, with its scissor-like tail, flew sideways in the bright sky when the sun was shining all over the ground. With a chirping sound, they also flew from the south to join this dazzling picture, adding a lot of life to the spring scenery. The little swallow, with its scissor-like tail, flew sideways in the bright sky when the sun was shining all over the ground. With a chirping sound, it had already landed on the rice fields here. The tall willow that flew over there fell. Text 3, Lotus. Natural paragraph 2 to 4. Lotus flowers have bloomed a lot. The lotus leaves are crowded together, like big green discs. White lotus flowers pop up between these large discs. Some only unfold 2 or 3 petals. Some petals are fully unfolded, revealing small yellow lotus pods. Some are still flower bones, which look so full that they are about to burst. There are so many white lotus flowers, one after another. Look at this one, it's beautiful. Look at that one, it's also beautiful. If the pond of lotus in front of you is regarded as a large living painting, then the painter's ability is really amazing. I suddenly felt like I was a lotus flower, wearing snow-white clothes. Stand in the sunshine. A breeze blew over, and I danced gracefully, my snow-white clothes fluttering in the wind. Not just me, but all the lotuses in the pond are dancing. The wind passed and I stopped dancing and stood there quietly. The dragonfly flew over. Tell me about the joy of flying early in the morning. The little fish swam under my feet and told me about the good dream I had last night. Text 5, Wait and see. Song people had cultivators. There is a plant in the field. The rabbit walked and hit the plant, broke its neck and died. Because he released his weeds and guarded the plant, he hoped to get the rabbit again. Rabbits cannot be denied. And as song guashao. Text 13, Flower clock. Natural paragraph 1. The flowers are blooming, colorful and fragrant. If we observe carefully, we will find that different flowers bloom at different times within a day. For a clock in the morning. The morning glory blew its purple trumpet. At around 5 o'clock, the gorgeous roses bloomed with smiles. At 7 o'clock, the water lilies woke up from their dreams. At around 12 o'clock at noon, the noon flowers bloomed. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the marigolds happily in full bloom. 5 p.m. Purple jasmine wakes up. Moonflower unfolds its petals around 7 o'clock. Tuberose blooms at 8 o'clock in the evening. Epiphyllum appears with a smile around 9 o'clock. Text 18, Ink painting of childhood. By the stream. The weeping willows use the stream as a dressing mirror. The mountain stream is as calm as a green jade belt. The figure dyed the stream green. There is a red dragonfly standing on the fishing rod. Suddenly there was a thump and the figure shattered. There were fish and laughter jumping on the grass. Text 24, Hoshayan. Natural paragraph 3 to 6. The fire clouds in this place change a lot. Sometimes they are red, sometimes they are golden, sometimes they are half purple and half yellow, and sometimes they are half gray and half lily. Grape. Text 24, Hoshayan. Natural paragraph 3 to 6. The fire clouds in this place change a lot. Sometimes they are red, sometimes they are golden, sometimes they are half purple and half yellow, and sometimes they are half gray and half lily. Grape gray, pear yellow, eggplant purple. There are these colors in the sky. There are also colors that cannot be described or seen. After a while, a horse appeared in the sky, with its head facing south and its tail facing west. There are these colors in the sky. There are also colors that cannot be described or seen. After a while, a horse appeared in the sky, with its head facing south and its tail facing west. The horse is kneeling, as if it is waiting for someone to ride on its back before it stands up. After 2 or 3 seconds, the horse grew bigger, its legs stretched out, its neck grew longer, but its tail disappeared. The viewer is looking for the horse's tail, and the horse becomes blurry. Suddenly another big dog came. The dog was very fierce and was running forward. There seemed to be several puppies following behind. As I ran, the puppy disappeared without knowing where it was, and the big dog disappeared too. Then another big lion came, which was exactly the same as the stone lion in front of the temple. It was also as big and squatting like that. Squatting very powerfully and calmly. But it changed in the blink of an eye, and could no longer be found. Recalling Jiangnan. Tang by Ji. Jiangnan is good, and the scenery is familiar to me. When the sun rises, the flowers on the river are as red as fire, and when spring comes, the water on the river is as green as blue. Can you not remember Jiangnan? Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Han Dan is learning to walk, playing the U to make up for the numbers, hiding his ears and stealing the bell. Contradicting oneself, carving a boat to seek a sword, adding another layer to a snake's head dash. Unfounded worries are like a frog at the bottom of a well and a snake's shadow in a cup. Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. The 4 treasures of the study: pen, ink, paper, and inkstone. The 4 good things of an elegant person: playing music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. The gentleman among the flowers: plum, orchid, bamboo, and chrysanthemum. The 4 diagnostic methods of traditional Chinese medicine: looking, smelling, asking, and feeling dash. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Chuzhou Shijin. Tang Dynasty Wei Yinggu. The lonely grass grows beside the stream, and there are orioles singing in the deep trees. The spring tide brings rain that comes late. There is no boat in Yedu. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash. If you see something good, move on. If you see something wrong, change it. Book of Changes. To make mistakes without correcting them is to make mistakes. The Analects of Confucius. Who has no fault? If you can change your past, there is no greater good. Zhuo Zhuan. Don't hesitate to correct your mistakes and follow the good path. Su Shi. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. Soldiers will come to block it, water will come and earth will cover it. Don't enter the tiger's den. How can you get tiger cubs? Seeing is believing, hearing is believing. Those who are close to vermilion are red, those who are close to ink are black. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash. Dalan Temple Peach Blossom. Tang Bai Ji. The beauty of April in the world is gone, and the peach blossoms in the mountain temple are beginning to bloom. Everlasting regret has no place to return to in spring, and I don't know where to turn. The second volume of the 4th grade. Text 1, 3 Ancient Poems. Pastoral Excitement at 4 Seasons, Part 25. Song Dynasty Fan Qingda. The plums are golden, the apricots are fat, the wheat flowers are white and the cauliflowers are sparse. No one passes through the fence during the long day, only dragonflies and butterflies fly. Shugong Store, Suxin City. Song Dynasty Yang Wanli. The fence is sparsely 1 foot deep, and the new green on the treetops has not yet become shade. The children hurriedly chased the yellow butterfly, which flew into the cauliflower and was nowhere to be found. Qingpingulf Village. Song Dynasty. Xin Qiji. The eaves are low and the grass is green on the stream. When drunk, Wu Yin is very charming, but who is the old lady with gray hair? The eldest son is hoeing beans to the east of the stream, while the middle son is weaving a chicken coop. I love the death of my children the most. Lying at the head of the stream peeling lotus pods. Text 9, 3 Short Poems. Stars, July 1st. These things are memories that will never fade away, dash. In the moonlit garden, under the leaves of the vines, on my mother's lap. Stars, 1, 3, 1. The sea. Which star has no light? Which flower is not fragrant? Is there ever a time when the clear sound of your waves is not in my thoughts? Stars, 159. Mother. The wind and rain from the sky are coming. The bird takes refuge in its nest. The storm in my heart is coming. I just hide in your arms. Text 10, green. It's like the green ink bottle was overturned, and there was green everywhere. Where can I find so much green, dark green, light green, emerald green, light green, pink green? It's so black and so green. The wind that blows is green, the rain that falls is green, and the water that flows is green. The sun is also green. All the greens are gathered together, squeezed together, overlapped, and intertwined quietly. Suddenly there was a gust of wind, as if a dance instructor was directing, and all the green colors floated together neatly according to the beat. Text 21, 3 Ancient Poems. Farewell to Xianjian at Furong Tower. Tang Dynasty Wang Chongling. Entering Wu in the cold rainy night, I see off my guests in Chu Shangu in the morning. Relatives and friends in Luoyang ask each other like a piece of ice in a jade pot. Put the next song. Teng Luluan. The wild geese fly high in the dark moon, and the Chanyu escapes in the night. When I want to chase Qingqi away, heavy snow covers my bow and sword. Mo Mei. Yuan Wang Mian. The tree at the head of the pond where I wash my inkstones. Flowers bloom with faint ink marks. Don't let anyone praise you for the good color, just leave the pure air to fill the universe. Text 22, 2 Classical Chinese Articles. Now Ing reads at night. Yin Gong is diligent and knowledgeable. The family was poor and did not often have oil, so Xia Yu would hold dozens of fireflies in a bag to illuminate the book, day and night. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. Bu Xuanzi, Yongmei. Mao Zedong. Wind and rain send spring home, and flying snow welcome spring. There are already hundreds of feet of ice on the cliff, but there are still beautiful flowers and branches. Xiao doesn't fight for spring, she only reports that spring has come. When the mountain flowers were in full bloom, she smiled among the bushes. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Walking alone by the river looking for flowers. Tengdu Fu. In front of the Huangshi Pagoda, the river is east, and the spring light is lazy and relying on the breeze. A cluster of peach blossoms blooms without an owner. Cute crimson love light red. Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. Poetry, like music, is all about rhythm. Zhu Guangqian. Poetry is a message sent by mankind to the future. Poetry gives human beings the courage to move towards their ideals. A.I. Qin. Poetry is the spontaneous outpouring of strong feelings, arising from emotions recalled in tranquility. British, Wordsworth. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime B. Tang Dynasty Luo Yin. Regardless of the flat land or the top of the mountain, the infinite scenery is occupied. After harvesting the flowers and turning them into honey, for whom is it hard work and for whom is it sweet? Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime Sitting alone on Jingting Mountain. Tangli Bai. All the birds are flying high, and the lonely cloud is alone. I never get tired of seeing each other, only Jingting Mountain. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. Heaven is in good health, and a gentleman strives to constantly strive for self-improvement. Book of Changes. He who conquers others is powerful, and he who conquers himself is strong. Laozi. Don't blame God, don't blame others. The Analects of Confucius. Born in sorrow and died in happiness. Mencius. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime Young people don't know how to study hard, but when they get older, they realize that it is too late to study. A day of reading is a day of success, a day of not reading is a day of nothingness. Don't be afraid of a shallow foundation in learning, as long as you take the first step, it's never too late. There are roads in the mountain of books, and diligence is the path, and there is no limit to the sea of learning, and hard work is the boat. Volume 2 of 5th grade. Text 1, 3 Ancient Poems. Pastoral Miscellany in 4 Seasons, Part 31. Song Dynasty Fan Qingda. The fields are tilled in the day and hemp is harvested at night. The children of the village are each responsible for their own affairs. The children and grandchildren are still working for farming and weaving, and they are also learning to grow melons near the mulberry tree. A child making ice. Song Dynasty Yang Wanli. The child's golden basin sheds the ice, and the colored silk threads are used as silver rings. The sound of a jade chime echoed through the forest. Suddenly there was a sound of breaking glass. Village Evening. Song Dynasty Lei Zhen. The pond is full of grass and water is full of water, and the setting sun on the mountain is soaked in cold ripples. The shepherd boy returns and crosses the cow's back, playing the piccolo without any tune. Text 9. 3 Ancient Poems. Joining the Army. Tang Dynasty Wang Changling. Qinghai is covered by long clouds and covered with snow-capped mountains, and the isolated city looks at Yumen Pass in the distance. Yellow sand can wear golden armor in 100 battles, and Lulan will never be returned until it is broken. When the autumn night is about to dawn, I step out of the fence gate to welcome the coolness, I feel it. Song Dynasty Lu Yu. 30,000 miles of river flows eastward into the sea, and 5,000 miles of mountains reach the sky. The remaining people shed tears in the dust and looked south to see Wang Shi for another year. When Guanjuan took over Hunan and Hebei. Tangdu Fu. Suddenly there was a message outside the sword that Jibei was being collected. When Guanjuan took over Hunan and Hebei. Tangdu Fu. Suddenly there was a message outside the sword that Jibei was being collected. When I heard it for the first time, my clothes were filled with tears. But seeing where his wife is worried, she writes poems and books filled with joy and joy. To sing during the day, you need to indulge in alcohol. Youth is a good companion for returning home. That is to say, it passes through Wu Gorge from Ba Gorge and then goes down to Xiangyang towards Luoyang. Text 15, Self-Contradiction. The people of Chu had shields and spears. He praised it and said, my shield is so strong that nothing can trap it. He also praised his spear and said, my spear is so sharp that it can trap everything. Or he said, how can I use my spear to trap my shield? This person can't respond. A shield that cannot be trapped and a spear that cannot be trapped cannot exist in the same world. Text 21, Yang's son. The son of the Yang family in Liang was 9 years old and very intelligent. Kong Junping visited his father, but his father was not there. Then call your son out. To set the fruit has bayberry. The whole pointed to his son and said, this is the fruit of your family. The son replied, I have never heard that peacocks are the birds of father and son. Chinese Garden 1. Then call your son out. To set the fruit has bayberry. The whole pointed to his son and said, this is the fruit of your family. The son replied, I have never heard that peacocks are the birds of father and son. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. The Wanderer chants. Tangmingjiao. The thread in a loving mother's hand, the clothes on a wanderer's body. Before leaving, I was afraid of returning late. Whoever speaks of an inch of grass will be rewarded with 3 rays of spring light. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over Time. Birdsong Stream. Tangwang Wei. The sweet-scented osmanthus falls when people are idle, and the spring mountain sky is quiet at night. The moonrise scares the mountain birds, and they sing in the spring stream. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime Dash. Liangzhou Ci. Tang Dynasty Wang Zhihuan. Far up the Yellow River among the white clouds, there is an isolated city called Wanren Mountain. Why should the Chang flute blame the willows? The spring breeze does not pass through Yumen Pass. Yellow Crane Tower sends Meng Haoren to Guangling. Tangli Bai. The old friend left the Yellow Crane Tower in the west, and the fireworks descended from Yangzhou in March. The shadow of the lone sail in the distance is gone in the blue sky, and only the Yangtze River can be seen flowing in the sky. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime Dash. Cardamom Years refers to a woman's age of 13 or 14. Gigi refers to a woman who is over 15 years old. Weak Crown refers to the age of a man around 20 years old. Early refers to a person who is 30 years old. Buhua refers to a person who is 40 years old. 60 years old refers to a person who is 60 years old. Gushi refers to a person who is 70 years old. Qi refers to a person who is 100 years old. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. April in the countryside. Song Dynasty Wenzhuan. The mountains are green and the rivers are white, and the rain is like smoke amid the sound of the rules. There are few idle people in the countryside in April. Just sericulture and planting fields. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime Dash. A gentleman is likened to righteousness, and a villain is likened to benefit. The Analects of Confucius. A gentleman is magnanimous, while a villain is always concerned. The Analects of Confucius. Compassion is the essence of benevolence. Mencius. If you do too much injustice, you will surely die. Zhua Zhuan. If people have shame, they can do something. Zhu Ziyulei. The second volume of 6th grade. Text 3, 3 Ancient Poems. Cold Food. Tang Dynasty Han Hong. There are flying flowers everywhere in the spring city, and the east wind keeps the willow trees from falling. At dusk, candles were passed around the Han Palace, and light smoke dispersed into the house of the 5 marquises. Far Altair. The distant Altair, the bright river, the Han girl. The slender hands are used to make tricks. I can't make up my mind all day long, and my tears are like rain. The river is clear and shallow. How much has changed? There is a room full of water, and the pulse is speechless. Looking at the moon on the 15th night. Tang Wang Jian. Crows roost in the white trees in the atrium, and the cold dew wets the sweet-scented osmanthus silently. Tonight the moon is bright and everyone can see. I wonder whose family Chiu Siluo belongs to. Text 10, 3 Ancient Poems. Ma Shi. Tang Li He. The sand in the desert is like snow, and the moon in Yanshan Mountain is like a hook. Why should I be golden and have a strong brain? Walk quickly to enjoy the clear autumn. Lime Chant. Bright. Yu Qian. Thousands of hammers were used to carve out the deep mountains, and the fire burned them as if nothing happened. Don't be afraid of your bones being shattered into pieces, you want to leave your innocence in this world. Bamboo Stone. Qing Dynasty Jingxia. Stay firm on the green hills and never relax. The roots were originally in the broken rock. It has been strong despite countless hardships, regardless of the winds from east to west, north and south. Text 8, In a Hurry. The swallows have gone, but they will come again. The willows have withered, but they will be green again. The peach blossoms have withered, but they will bloom again. But tell me, wise one, why are our days gone forever? Someone must have stolen them. Who is that? Where is it hidden? They must have escaped on their own. Where are they now? I don't know how many days they gave us, but my hands are getting empty. Counting in silence. 8,000 days have slipped away from my hands, like drops of water on a needle's tip dripping into the ocean. My days were dripping into the flow of time, without sound or shadow. I couldn't help but feel dizzy and burst into tears. Whatever has gone, let it go, and whatever has come, let it come. How hurried is it between going and coming? When I got up in the morning, 2 or 3 slanting sunbeams came into the hut. The sun has legs. It moves away gently and quietly, and I follow it in a daze. How hurried is it between going and coming? When I got up in the morning, 2 or 3 slanting sunbeams came into the hut. The sun has legs. It moves away gently and quietly, and I follow it in a daze. So, when washing hands, the days pass by the basin. When we eat, the days pass by the rice bowl. When we are silent, the days pass by the daydreaming eyes. I feel that he has gone away so hurriedly, so when I reach out my hands to hold him back, he passes by past my withholding hands. When it gets dark, I lie in bed. He then stepped over me in a smart way and flew away from my feet. When I opened my eyes and saw the sun again, another day had slipped away. I hid my face and sighed, but the shadow of the new day was gone. The child began to flash through the sigh again. What can I do in this world of thousands of households in the days when I am escaping like flying away? There is nothing but wandering, nothing but hurrying. In the rush of more than 8,000 days, apart from wandering, what else was left? The past days are like smoke. It was blown away by the breeze, like mist, evaporated by the early sun. What traces have I left behind? Have I ever left traces like gossamers? I came to this world naked, will I go back naked in a blink of an eye? But it cannot be flat. Why do you have to go through this journey in vain? You smart one, tell me, why are our days gone forever? Text 12, Serving the People. Natural paragraph 2 to 3. People are always going to die, but the meaning of death is different. In ancient China, there was a writer named Sima Qian who said, everyone is destined to die. It may be heavier than Mount Tai or lighter than a feather. To die for the benefit of the people is heavier than Mount Tai, to work for the fascists, to exploit the people and oppress the people. The people's people die. It's lighter than a feather. Comrade Zhang Sai died for the interests of the people, and his death was heavier than Mount Tai. Because we serve the people, if we have shortcomings, we are not afraid of criticism from others. No matter who it is. Anyone can point it out to us. As long as you are right, we will correct it. The method you suggest is good for the people, so we will do it. The idea of better troops and simpler administration was put forward by Mr. Li Dingming, a non-party person. He put forward it well. If it is good for the people, we will adopt it. As long as we stick to what is good and correct what is wrong for the benefit of the people, our team will surely prosper. Text 14, 2 articles in classical Chinese. Learn chess. Yi Qiu. He is also the best chess player in the country. He asked Yi Qiu to teach 2 people to play chess. One of them concentrated on the game, but Yi Qiu listened. Although the other listened, he thought that a swan was coming, and he wanted to help him and shot it with his bow. Even though I have learned from him, I am not as good as him. Why is he so wise? Said, not so. 2 children debating day. Confucius was traveling east and saw 2 children arguing and asked him why. One son said, I think when the sun begins to rise, people are closer, but when the sun is at midday, people are far away. One son said, I think the sun is far away at the beginning of the day, but it is close at the middle of the day. One son said, when the sun comes out at the beginning of the day, it is as big as the hood of a car. When it reaches the middle of the day, it is like a pan. It is not small if it is far away, but it is large if it is close. One son said, it's cool and sang at the beginning of the day, and it's like exploring the soup in the middle of the day. Isn't it hot for those who are near and cool for those who are far away? Confucius couldn't decide. The 2 children laughed and said, who knows more about you? Recitation of ancient poems. Kaiwei, excerpt. The Book of Songs, Xiaoya. I have left the past, and the willows are still there. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's raining and snowing. The journey is slow and full of thirst and hunger. My heart is sad, but I don't know how sad I am. Send Yuan air to Anxi. Tang Wang Wei. The morning rain in Weiqing is covered with light dust, and the goose houses are green and willow-colored. I advise you to drink a glass of wine and leave Yangguan in the west without any old friends. Happy rainy spring night. Tang Du Fu. Good rain knows the season, and spring will happen. Sneaking into the night with the wind, moistening things silently. The wild paths are all dark with clouds, but the river boats are only bright with fire. Look at the red and wet areas at dawn. The flowers are heavy in Jingwencheng. In early spring, the Ministry of Water Resources presented Zhang to the 18th member of the Ministry of Water. Tang Dynasty Han Yu. The light rain on the sky street is as moist as crisp. The color of grass looks far away but not up close. The most beautiful thing about spring is that it is better than smoke and willows all over the imperial capital. Fishermen on the river. Song Dynasty Fan Zhongyan. There are many people coming and going on the river, but they love the beautiful sea base. You see, a boat is in and out of the storm. Mooring the boat in Guazhou. Song Dynasty Wang Engshi. Jinko Guazhou Water Room. Fishermen on the river. Song Dynasty fan Zhongyan. There are many people coming and going on the river, but they love the beautiful sea base. You see, a boat is in and out of the storm. Mooring the boat in Guazhou. Song Dynasty Wang Engshi. Jinko Guazhou Water Room. Zhongshan is only separated by several mountains. The spring breeze is green again on the south bank of the river. When will the bright moon shine on me again? Zhongshan is only separated by several mountains. The spring breeze is green again on the south bank of the river. When will the bright moon shine on me again? A visit to the park is not worth it. Song Dynasty Yishaoweng. You should take pity on the green moss on the teeth of your clogs, and the door of the small buckle firewood will not open for a long time. The garden is full of spring scenery, and a branch of red apricot comes out of the wall. Bu Swansea sent Bao Haoran to the east of Zhejiang. Song Dynasty Wangguan. The water is like the waves in your eyes, and the mountains are like the gathering of eyebrows and peaks. I would like to ask pedestrians where to go. The brows and eyes are full of beauty. Only then did I send spring back, and then sent you back. If you go to the south of the Yangtze River to catch spring, you will live with it. Huanqi Sha. Song Dynasty Su Shi. Visit Chishui Qingshuan Temple, which is adjacent to Lanxi River. The stream flows westward. At the foot of the mountain, the orchid buds are soaked in the stream, the sandy road among the pines is clean and mudless, and the raindrops are crying at dusk. Who said there is no less in life? The water flowing in front of the door can still flow to the west. Stop singing Yellow Chicken with White Hair. Qingpingul. Song Dynasty Huang Tingjian. Where does spring return? Loneliness leads nowhere. If anyone knows where Chun is going, he can call her back to live with her. Who knows if there is no trace of spring? Unless you ask for Oriole. No one can understand 100 warblings, because the wind flies over the roses. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. Changexing. Han Yuefu. There are sunflowers in the green garden, and the morning dew awaits the setting sun. Yangchun Bidis. All things are radiant. I am often afraid that when the autumn festival comes, the yellow flowers and leaves will wither. From the east to the sea, when will the rivers return to the west? All things are radiant. I am often afraid that when the autumn festival comes, the yellow flowers and leaves will wither. From the east to the sea, when will the rivers return to the west? If a young man does not work hard, the old man will be miserable. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Reading must be done with intention. A word is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Mo Daojun leaves early, and there are even more early travelers. Listening to your words is worth 10 years of reading. Horsepower can be seen in the distance, and people's hearts can be seen in time. When you are near water, you know the nature of fish. When you are near mountains, you know the sounds of birds. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Planting flowers intentionally will not bloom, but unintentionally planting willows will create shade. Good medicine tastes bitter and is beneficial to disease. Loyalty is helpful to one's actions. The tree wants to be quiet, but the wind does not stop. The child wants to be nurtured but cannot be kissed. There will always be days when there will be no days, and don't think of the days when there will be no days. When the book is used, I will regret it less. You don't know how difficult things are until they have happened. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. If it is poor, it will change. If it changes, it will be general, and if it is general, it will last. Book of Changes. You don't know how difficult things are until they have happened. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. If it is poor, it will change. If it changes, it will be general, and if it is general, it will last. Book of Changes. It is new every day, and it is new every day. Book of Rights. Green. Take it from blue and become green from blue. Xuanzi. If you want to benefit the people, you don't have to follow the ancient times,